Post.
Hello, I'm Madeline Tynan from the Michael Tynan Memorial Challenge, and I'm here today with my brother Kieran Tynan, and we're just going to be talking through the Michael Tynan Memorial Challenge on the 11th of the 11th. Kieran, you're getting involved, all our family's getting involved.
We are.
Obviously, we had the inaugural Michael Tynan Memorial Challenge last year, and that was pretty challenging for our family. But we raised a lot of money, which went to the St George and Sutherland Medical Research.
Yes, it did.
You know as well as I know that Dad always wanted to give back to community, and that's the reasons that we get involved in community events. What does that mean to you and to your family to get involved in this?
Thank you, Madeline. Well, I think it's probably following on a tradition, like what our father did some 50 years ago, as we may remember, for those people out there. It makes absolutely stupid, doesn't it? But anyway,
That's right.
for people out there, that was our 50th year anniversary last year, and we thought nothing better than to put back into the community, which a lot of people give to our company. And what better to help than Sutherland Shire and St George Medical Research? So it's been developed by yourself and your team.
Yeah. Obviously, you know, everyone got involved in a different way last year. You were involved in the paddling.
Yes.
We're not doing that this year, as we were at Brendan's wedding, my son and your nephew last week, which was a beautiful family event.
It was.
So this year, you're obviously going to get involved in the drive.
Yes. Oh, most certainly. I'm very excited.
And Mum is getting involved with our other two sisters. They're also taking cars. So you'll be leading that part of the challenge with half of our family, and half of the other family will be walking. What are you looking forward to that day to see what happens?
Besides actually generating income for a great cause, I think it's the challenge of actually doing it, and the involvement of being involved with a great charity.
So you remember, you know, when we decided to do the challenge, we decided part of that had to be the car, because that's what started the whole of Tynan Motors, was Dad's sort of nature, which he loved to do, and do challenges within cars, car rallies all around Australia, really, didn't he, Mick?
That's correct. Yes,
you were involved in all of that. A lot of the younger ones wouldn't have seen that as much as you did. Tell a little bit about how Dad used to love to rally and what he did.
Well, it was very exciting back in those early days, and I guess, as most of you may know, and maybe the younger ones don't, but cars were very basic in those days. And there was a lot more risk involved. There was no roll cages. Basically, someone put a set of tyres on their car and had a route through the bush, and off they went, and that was what they called a rally.
We grew up doing that, didn't we? Following Dad to all of his different events, and a lot of them were exactly what we're doing this weekend, is getting information and having to find places. Not when Dad was racing, obviously, and that's not what we're doing this weekend.
Which is the challenge.
But yeah, the challenge this weekend will be able to answering the questions that Roxy sets up, which are a bit difficult. But anyway, we'll get along with that. And making our different sponsors along the way. Masterton Homes are a part of that. So the different sponsors in car sales, NRMA will be following us along the way. We've got Wave FM radio station participating with us as well. URM, waste disposal. We've got so many different sponsors that have come along this challenge with us. Who will you be walking for 11-11? Last year is obviously, driving, you'll be driving, I'll be walking. Where obviously all of us are going to hold someone dear to us that year. Is it still going to be Dad that you're also holding?
I think so. I think so. He set such a great legacy for the Shire and St George, and indeed the whole Illawarra area, where he established the motor industry to what it is today, with his involvement through numerous charities, including the NRMA, which have been a great supporter of Tynan Motors, of the challenge and the research. And I think what we're trying to do, I guess, Madeline, from my perspective, is to amalgamate the legacy that Dad has left us to the commercial reality of what we're involved with in the sale of motor vehicles and a very, very good cause and charities. If we can put the two together between the business and also charities, I think we're doing our job and continuing it on very nicely.
Yeah, and I think so too. We're bringing in the next generation. We do have a lot of nieces and nephews that will also be helping out, plus my children. And I think that's teaching them what community means, and you've got to give back. I think one thing that always rings out in my head is Dad used to always say, give back, because you never know one day where you might need it. And we've been blessed to have really good hospitals. We've had a lot to do with St George, unfortunately, in the last little while, and medical research helps them to be one of the best hospitals in the whole of New South Wales.
I think so, and I think the other big thing that Dad always taught us is to give and not expect anything back. And I think that in saying that, you know, the areas of Sydney and beyond have been very good to our company. So it is great to actually be able to be involved and give something back to something that we hold very dear to our heart.
Well, in saying that, Kieran, we're doing a lot in the south, and people come and ask us why we're doing so much down in the Wollongong and Illawarra area. Do you want to expand on that a little bit?
I think, in reality, I think we call it prime market areas, and as Sydney has grown, Australia has grown with the advancement of the internet, that those insular little places per se called prime market areas has now become Australia. So the power of the media has grown, instant communications have grown, and hence to say, bringing it back down to St George and Southern Shire medical research, that's not only for our Shire and also for St George, but it's actually for the advancement of medical research for the whole of Australia and beyond. And I think that's probably where we are very, very lucky to actually have these people within our region, that we can support them. So what benefit we put in will actually help Australia and the world.
And probably expanding that even more is obviously Dad's business has started in the St George area, and we have a wonderful association with St George Football.
Yes.
St George Illawarra, I should say. We've got a wonderful association with them, and they've been wonderful to the Michael Tynan Challenge.
They have. Great supporters. Even right back to the early days, Madeline.
Right back to the early days. So we can see our future as in the Illawarra, because the Shire is really joining with the Illawarra, and our growth corridor will be straight down the Illawarra.
Yes.
We've invested heavily into the local Illawarra area, and that will be expanding.
It is. Yes, it's growing further and further south, and as our roads, and as we just been informed, the F6 is going ahead, so that will become even closer from the city right down to now and beyond.
Kieran, we obviously have had magnificent support from sponsors.
We have.
And
great support.
Right from St George, Optus, URM, car sales, NRMA.
Yes.
There's just been so many of them. We just can't even say, you know, we keep forgetting. Castrol's another one.
Castrol,
yes, definitely
great
the
supporters.
councils. But also from Mark Speakman and Scott Morrison have been wonderful supporters. I suppose they wouldn't be supporters if it wasn't for Dad. I mean, he put a lot of time and effort into his local community on council and giving support where support was due on both sides of the fence. So I suppose it comes back in his legacy in memory of him. So needless to say, the Michael Tynan Memorial Challenge.
Yes, I think so, Madeline. I think Dad, looking down on this today, should be very proud for what he has put in place that will be carried on for forever and a day.
And I think he'd be proud to see his family all together, extended family together, putting back to the community that he loves so dearly.
I agree, 100%.
Okay.
Blessings to you.
Yeah.